Welcome to our first kickoff conference, of the Global Partnership Network. I'm very happy that all of you are here. At the same time, I'm very sorry to be unable to meet you in person. We still hope that COVID-19 may be defeated or pushed back during the next year so that we may have a real kickoff conference where we will be able to have a tea and some conversations beyond the screen. So the Global Partnership Network, what is it anyway? It is a research network which is funded by the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, and the BMZ, Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And it is devoted to the Sustainable Development Goal number 17, the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development. We'll be focusing above all on three areas: partnerships in development cooperation, in the global economy, and in knowledge production. And if I say we, this includes a whole lot of people, and not only us here in Kassel, but our partners in universities and civil society organizations in 10 countries, in Jamaica, Haiti, in Ghana, Burkina Faso, Senegal, South Africa, Uganda, Ethiopia, in India, and yes, and in Germany as well. So these are the partner universities I've been mentioning: Haramaya University, JNU, Makerere, Rhodes, Université des Sciences Appliquées du Développement, Université d'État in Haiti, Université Virtuelle Senegal, the University of Cape Coast, the University of West Indies, and Witwatersrand in South Africa. These are all civil society organizations: Action Aid in India and Uganda, Ballet Citoyen, Caribbean Coastal Area Management Foundation, Catherine Hall Community Development Committee, EarthLife, Endergraf Sahel, Ghana Permaculture Institute, Institut Culturel Karl Levesque, Jamaica Network of Rural Women's Producers, Kalpavik, Medico, Miserio, Redes, the Slash Roots Foundations, and Solidarité Fund Aisia, and the Third World Network in Accra. So what are we doing together in this network? We are, first of all, we have a governance structure. All important decisions are being taken by the International Steering Committee and the International Academic Committee. Hopefully soon in the future, we will also have an advisory board, but we're as yet working on it. And the local structure in Kassel is a bit special because we do not only have a local committee, as you all have in your universities, but we also have what we call the board of directors, which are actually some very nice colleagues who assist me in the day-to-day work and the staff. So basically they will be presenting themselves as another point on the agenda, because we think that you have so far seen very little of them. Nevertheless, they are also important. What have we done so far? We have been building up the communication infrastructure, and as you know, we've had the calls for PhD fellowships, for small research projects and workshops, and for the visiting professorship. And to all these calls, we received applications, and in the International Steering Committee, Academic Committee, we decided on the selection of the persons and projects to be funded. What are we going to do in the future? We'll be continuing, of course, to distribute those fellowships. We also will be trying to set up a joint MA program. Above all, we will be developing together with all of you, basically, e-learning tools and open educational resources. We're right now in setting up the graduate school to provide workshops and courses for the PhD students. We'll also be having conferences, mostly virtual conferences, not only due to COVID-19, but also due to the idea that for ecological reasons, we would like to avoid air travel and corresponding CO2 emissions. There will be research cooperations and visits at all partner universities, and of course, the academic workshops, policy workshops, and workshops specifically for development organizations and marginalized groups. And each semester we'll be inviting an eminent scholar from the South to the Wangari Maathai visiting professorship here in Kassel. However, we still haven't really talked about the content and the global partnerships and the problems we see with the global partnerships. And if we look at them, we find that there are still colonial patterns which shape the partnership in development cooperation, starting from the basic fact that development cooperation deals with interventions in the South, usually based on knowledge from the North, which we still see as a sort of colonial pattern. A second problem we see is the lack of accountability. Development experts who set up these projects are accountable often to their own institutions, sometimes to the funding institutions as well, but rarely, if ever, to the project affected people. This is why we think that the inspection panel of the World Bank and accountability mechanisms like this are an important improvement which has to be strengthened. It is very necessary because despite some accountability mechanisms, we are still faced with a situation where each year 10 to 15 million people are being displaced each year by development projects. The most infamous probably being the Sardar Sarovar Dam in the Narmada Valley in India, but there are countless projects like this. And it has to be said, the majority of them are run by the national governments, not by the World Bank, although the World Bank is still very, very guilty, as we all know. Second cluster, second research area, global economy. It is also shaped by colonial patterns. The financial transfers from south to north are twice as large as those in the opposite direction. The largest portions of this are related to illicit transfers, money being basically sent by elites in the south to Swiss bank accounts, by debt service, and by the repatriation of profits from multinational companies whose headquarters usually are not in the south, despite some shifts. Some are, in fact, of course, to be found in Japan and China and South Korea. So a second area which we need to tackle is what has been called the free trade imperialism, pushing local producers off the market because the competitors in other countries are just too strong. A notable example could be seen in Ghana, where the poultry farmers saw their market share decreasing from 95% to 11%, the Ghanaian poultry farmers, within 1 decade due to imports from the European Union. Another problem, and there could be even more we could cite, another problem is land grabbing. Only since 2007, there have been land deals, so basically land being sold to foreign investors in the area of 20 to 50 million hectares. So if we take the average figure of 35 million hectares, this is about the size of Germany. And only since 2007. So these figures are already a few years old. So by now it's probably even more. This is also something where we see that the problem of neocolonialism is still present, even if some of the players are new, especially in the area of land grabbing. We see investors from Saudi Arabia, from India, from China playing a prominent role. Third area, knowledge production. What's the problem here? We still see that in general, global inequality is often still framed in terms of underdevelopment, not in terms of exploitation or injustice. And we still see that the knowledge of the West is still treated as privileged, while indigenous knowledge is often being ignored. This is something that our keynote, Sabelun Lovugacini, will hopefully also tell us something about. That this indigenous knowledge is being ignored includes even philosophical concepts like Ubuntu. But even apart from that, there's a host of things we could learn, we here in the North could learn from the South. And this opportunity is being neglected so far. And this relates to institutional innovations, like the courts in Rwanda, for example. But it also relates to experiences and everyday knowledge that migrants from other continents could bring to Africa, to Europe, I'm sorry, could bring to Europe, and so that what we learn would be shaped more by global experiences and less by European experiences only. So these problems are some of those that shall be tackled in the research in the Global Partnership Network. Concerning partnerships in development cooperation, we'll be focusing on questions of access, of accountability, and of deep participation. Concerning global economy, we'll be focusing on agriculture, finance, and transitions towards renewable energy. And in knowledge production, we'll be dealing with Eurocentrism and alternative knowledges. So we are most curious and looking forward to our research cooperations during the next years. And we are very grateful that so many learned scholars and brilliant people and devoted activists are part of our GPN here. So to conclude, so not to take more time and to basically cause delays in the agenda, to conclude, I would mention we have been now talking about colonial patterns, but colonialism and related to it, of course, capitalism and patriarchy are not the only challenges for global partnerships, especially if we're talking about sustainability. And this is why I would like to end with some words borrowed from Wangari Maathai and her Nobel Peace Prize lecture in 2004, where she said, "Today we are faced with a challenge that calls for a shift in our thinking so that humanity stops threatening its life support system. We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds and in the process heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole of creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. This will happen if we see the need to revive our sense of belonging to a larger family of life." With these words, I would like to end, and I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hand back to Kwesi.
Thank you, Aram. Yes, thank you for introducing us to the scope, the partners, and some of the research areas and aims of the GPN. We would now proceed with a few video greeting notes that we have received for this occasion. And the first greeting note comes from Professor Reiner Finkeldey, who's the president of the University of Kassel.
I'm very happy to welcome you as the president of the University of Kassel to this virtual kick-off conference of the Global Partnership Network. Unfortunately, I cannot be live today, but technology makes it possible for me to send you a few words of welcome this way. We have all become accustomed to these blessings of modern technology in the recent months, but what must not be forgotten, however, is that these blessings can also sometimes be curses. By this I do not only mean annoying sound or picture disturbances, but also the question of the availability and the production conditions of modern technology. So when we sit in front of a screen or a laptop, as we do today, we must not forget that for some people internet access is still unavailable, or that people are exploited in the production of raw materials needed for the production of smartphones or computers. I'm therefore all the more pleased that with GPN we have been able to establish the second EXIC Center at the University of Kassel to deal with these very important issues. In other words, with questions about international production conditions, about development cooperation, and in particular, about Sustainable Development Goal number 17, Partnership for the Goals. As you may know, we have recently decided to set up our own center here at the University of Kassel for research and teaching on all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I am sure that there will be plenty of opportunities for cooperation between GPN and the new center at the University of Kassel. I am also very happy that the existence of the second EXCEED center, the ICDD, with its Global Labor University, could also be secured. This will enable us to provide important international impulses for sustainable development from our campus here in Kassel. In this spirit, I wish you a successful conference with many interesting encounters. Thank you very much.
All right. Having heard from the president of University of Kassel, we now move on to a next greeting message. This one comes from Sharif Asab Els, who is a program manager for the EXCEED program at DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, who is co-funding the GPN through the EXCEED program in conjunction with the German Federal Ministry for Development Cooperation.
Thank you very much. I just wonder if you can hear me, if I'm audible right now. Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. My name is Sharif Azabels. I'm in charge of the EXCEED program, Higher Education Excellence in Development Cooperation. And it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you today to the kickoff meeting of the Global Partnerships Network on behalf of DAAD, German Academic Exchange Service, and Lars Gerold, Head of Section for Higher Education, Institutional Building and Development Cooperation. EXCEED is a funding program that is financed by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. In the last 10 years, EXCEED has been conducted in a close collaboration with 5 international networks of German universities and their partner organizations in the Global South. As we've just heard from the president of the University of Kassel, one of these networks has been established by the University of Kassel, which is the International Center for Development and Decent Work, ICDD. On one hand, the outstanding achievements of EXCEED networks can be shown in the outcomes, which we follow through a results-oriented monitoring on a regular basis. And on the other hand, these achievements of EXCEED as a program have been also noted by an independent evaluation team at the end of 2018. The evaluation of the whole program and of each of these networks revealed that EXCEED program is a unique one, since no similar program could have been found in the funding landscape of such a holistic approach, using instruments in the field of research, teaching, and policy impact, and following a network approach, including extramural organizations, all within the broader frame of the SDGs. We have already seen in the introduction of Professor Ziai a lot of extramural NGOs and other organizations. This was, amongst others, a good reason for BMZ and DAAD to relaunch the program for another funding phase for the next 5 years. Now, the engagement of the University of Kassel goes on. Today, we celebrate the start of the Global Partnership Network with many partner institutions situated in 9 partner countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. GPN targets research, teaching, and training that investigate the global partnerships for sustainable development. Focusing on the 17th SDG, which aims at strengthening the means of implementation in the context of global partnerships for sustainable development, GPN aims at building a sustainable structure, developing joint research projects, providing students and young scholars with qualifications related to sustainable development challenges, as well as fostering the scientific exchange between the partner universities. The unique feature of GPN can be found in the expected impacts of the network. The outcomes of GPN will be useful for the contribution to all sustainable development goals, and therefore to the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And I'm very confident that your teams in Germany and all over the world will foster the role which universities can play in contributing to solving challenges related to the SDGs. I wish you all the best for your collaboration, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharifi. Sorry, Mr. Sharifi. Els to take the time to speak to us personally and greet us at the inception of the GPN. Now, as Professor Aram Ziai alluded to earlier, the GPN has a board of directors, and these directors will now introduce themselves and their work to you, starting with Professor Christian Herzig. So, Christian, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Kwesi. Hi, everyone. A warm welcome also from my side to our virtual GPN Kick-off Conference. As Kwesi said, my name is Christian Herzig. I'm heading the unit of Management in International Food Business, and currently I'm acting as the Vice Dean of the Organic Agricultural Sciences faculty at the University of Kassel. I am happy to introduce myself briefly as one of the board members working on this exciting program together with Aram, Reiner, Elizabeth, and Hubertus, and also along with fantastic other members of the GPN team here at Kassel, and so many other wonderful colleagues and partner institutions from all over the world. Before I say a few words about myself, I would like to thank you all for being with us today. A special thanks from my side, of course, also goes to our keynote speakers, or especially the president of the university, Professor Finkeldey, and Mr. Azab Els. I think we are all very grateful that the DAAD has chosen our GPN as one of the new 7 centers of excellence for exchange and development. I guess that through the funding provided by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and the DAAD's Exceed program, we all hope, and I guess I'm speaking on behalf of all the board members, to be able to make substantial and sustainable contributions to a fair and sustainable world economy and joint knowledge production in global cooperation. I had already the pleasure to participate in the former Exceed Center, the International Center for Development and Decent Work, also led by another wonderful director, Professor Christoph Scherer. And as a member of the working group on global agricultural production systems, we looked at the role of actors and institutions in creating more responsible and sustainable agri-food supply chains. And in research projects I've been involved in, we have studied hybrid forms of value chain management and production networks in the cocoa sector to enable decent work, especially for small farmers, smallholder farmers, as they are usually the most vulnerable protagonists of these networks. And I'm really pleased that we can continue our efforts and work in this and many other related areas, focusing on global partnerships for sustainable development with the ultimate aim, I guess, of providing policy recommendations for more successful and genuine partnerships in the global economy. I'm therefore very pleased to have been asked to coordinate the research cluster 2 of our global partnership network, as briefly introduced by Aram before, the global economy, which addresses 3 important and interrelated areas, namely agriculture, finance, and renewable energy. So I'm very much looking forward to learning more about your research in these areas, to working with you and to learning from your experience, not only during this conference, but also over the next 4 to 5 years. And as Aram said in the beginning, the GPN, I guess, will provide you all with a platform where you can share your experiences and collaborate on research projects, doctoral supervision and teaching. We therefore look forward to exploring with you the reasons for success and failure of partnerships, providing analysis and policy recommendations for policy coherence, and hopefully achieving more true and fair cooperation in a world that at the moment seems to stand still, but remains global during and after the corona pandemic. That's all from my side. Kwesi, do you want to announce the next member? I'm not sure who was on the list. Is it Elizabeth or Rehandu?
Okay, then I would invite Rehandu to speak to us next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kwesi. Thank you, Christian. Also from my side, welcome to everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm truly excited to be here today. And I'm very, very glad that we're able to kick off the GPN after such a long process of preparation and of collaboration that promises to be extremely exciting in the years to come. My name is Rirando Mageza-Bartel. I am the visiting professor for international gender politics at the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of Kassel. And I've been involved with the GPN since I began in early 2019 in this position. International gender politics at the University of Kassel is transnational and intersectional in its approach and has been here since 2013 as a part of the political science section. And it's in this capacity and with this background that I come to the GPN, having focused on feminist approaches to international politics and Southern relations, which are also normative and have focused on areas such as development politics, post-colonial studies, and African-Chinese relations of late. I've been invited to head the cluster for partnership and development cooperation within the GPN, which, as Aram has mentioned, focuses on questions of access, accountability, and deep participation. And next to my involvement in the board of directors, I have also been involved in the diversity and gender questions that we've tried to take up within the GPN, and as such have formed a focal point to this effect. What makes the GPN special to me personally is a topic which within the SDGs partnership is cross-cutting, just like gender is supposed to be in international politics. The link between scholar and activist networks is also particularly interesting within the GPN. And as the past months have shown us, it is not just claimed that we are a global network, but we are a truly global network, which is based on dialogue and involves critical analysis. And in this sense and in this spirit, again, I welcome you and I look forward to the ongoing discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rirando. I would now invite Professor Elizabeth Twitter to speak to us next.
Yeah, thank you, Kwesi. A very warm welcome to everyone. I'm absolutely happy to be part of this kick-off meeting, to listen to you and, well, to start our cooperations or to deepen our cooperations within GPN. I am head of the research area Sociology of Diversity at Kassel University, and my research areas, my working areas, as well as Riando's, are strongly connected to gender relations, to gender studies, feminist perspective and approaches, but also to migration and racism. I have been working in a project on welcome culture and democracy in Germany. Another topic of my research and work is sexualized violence, and these all from a post-colonial and decolonial perspective. This perspective is highly influenced from many discussions and also research trips to Latin America. I have been learning a lot in all these discussions and research from colleagues from Latin America. And hello to all of you who are staying now. We have been working also together in the ICDD with colleagues. For example, I have been part of a project on coffee value chains. My special example or focus one was on coffee coming from a Zapatist region in the Mexican South. But I'm also happy within GPN context to be part of the thesis committee of GPN PhD work from Fernanda Cordova Suxo. She is going to work, or she already started now to work on construction of discourse on identities, realities, and actions from the beneficiaries of development cooperation in the Andes in Bolivia. So I'm very much looking forward and, well, give back to Kwesi.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, last but not least, I would now like to invite Hubertus to talk to us.
Yeah, I have to look where my video. Yes. Hello. My name is Hubertus Pischel, Professor for Modern History at the University of Kassel, and I'm also very glad to be part of the GPN. And well, I would wish we could meet together and sit down, have discussion, have some drinks and food, but at least we managed to have this online conference, and I would like to thank the whole team and everybody for you that we can take part of the GPN, but also on this conference. To my own work, I have worked for some years on a book on sustainable development, on a terminology, what is called Hilfe zur Selbsthilfe, a German development goal, what is based on self-education and the promise for sustainable development. And I had a very critical perspective on this. And I just can underline what Aram said, that we all have the feelings, and this is also a feeling shared by many historians, that in our development processes, aid and work is still a lot of colonial structure. And I would like to discuss all this with you, and I'm looking very much forward for the supervision of PhD thesis and your knowledge. And I really would like also to thank the DAAD and the whole team and all the colleagues that we can establish and can work in this really global and international exchange work. And let us hope that COVID is very soon history, and that we can find a way also to meet together and have a little bit a closer exchange, because I really think that it is very important to establish this collaboration in future. I am sure that I will learn a lot of you, and I hope that I also can contribute a little bit to the debates and to your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hubertus. Moving on, we would now like to present a selection of video introductions that were sent by our university and civil society partners, and that have been put together by our student assistant, Tata Diawara. Before we start showing these videos, I would like to remind you that 2 of these videos will be in French language. So those of you like myself, who would require translation for this, are now invited to switch to the English channel on your Zoom account, so that you can benefit from our translation of these videos. Those of you who have a working command of French can, of course, just stay in the main channel, which would mean that you will hear the English videos in English and the French videos in French. And with that, I would kindly ask our technical team to start the videos.
For the last nearly 50 years, ActionAid Association, in taking sides with the poor and vulnerable and the oppressed people, has worked across the country towards ending poverty and injustice in India. We work in partnership with social organizations, activists, volunteers, as well as directly in 26 states of India, and currently focus on segments such as, or what we call synergy areas such as land, water, commons, forests, and in a defense of nature. We work on agendas of labor and workers' rights, as well as towards ending urban poverty, particularly focusing on urban poverty and particularly focusing on informal workers. We work on women's rights, on advancing women's rights. We work on the question of children's rights and public education and deepening public education. We also focus on questions of peace and justice linked to peace. These form our primary areas of focus for now. We've had a long history of working on internationalist issues and promoting internationalism, both on the North-South and South-South axis. For we believe that many of the causes which perpetuate poverty and which cause poverty, injustice and deprivation and disenfranchisement are international in nature. And therefore a long history of our work deals with building solidarities among people internationally, among people's struggles internationally. Grounded participatory research as a means to advance input into public policy making, as well as a means to serve the cause of people's struggles, forms an important and integral portion of our part of our work. And it is in this regard that the partnership with Global Partnership Network, comprised of 9 universities and 19 social organizations across different countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America and Europe, would be very, very interesting for us. It will provide new basis for collaboration across different issues, across different agendas and across different countries, and obviously across people's struggles on those very spaces. So we are looking forward to the next 5 years of enriched collaboration with Global Partnership Network in terms of expanding people's activism, in terms of expanding progressive public policy making for the cause of people in the service of majorities of the world, and of course for added research and development in academic circles as well.
Je m'appelle Ousmane Mifal Nakwale. Je suis le secrétaire exécutif du Ballet Citoyen. Le Ballet Citoyen donc, est une organisation de la société civile. Pourquoi le Ballet Citoyen? Parce que la symbolique du Ballet Citoyen, parce que le ballet, c'est un instrument, un object qu'on utilise pour assainir, pour nettoyer tout ce qui est ordure. Donc le Ballet Citoyen, comme but d'assainir la gestion de la chose publique par l'engagement citoyen, c'est-à-dire en nettoyant tout ce qui est corruption, tout ce qui est mal gouvernance. C'est pour cela aussi que nous disons, ils ont utilisé la symbolique du ballet citoyen aussi. Parce que, en disant notre nom et notre force, parce que quand vous prenez l'ensemble des leviers, c'est difficile à casser lorsqu'ils sont ensemble. Et quand vous le prenez en individuel, il est facilement cassable. Donc, notre nombre et notre force peut rejoindre également le créneau du réseau, parce que plus nous sommes nombreux, plus nous sommes forts. Donc, par rapport à la symbolique du ballet que nous appelons ballet.
So in addition to the symbolism of the broom, which we call the citizens' broom, we officially hand over to you the symbol of our organization.
Les premières années de vie du ballet citoyen.
The first year of life of the citizens' broom was devoted to the struggle for the limitation of presidential mandates. This is something that is now rooted in the constitution of Burkina Faso since 2015. So the citizens' broom has repositioned itself as a permanent player in the field of citizenship and even in the mobilization of young people on issues relating to governance, security, and social dialogue. We know that each organization has its own characteristics. So we expect from the members of the GPN a mutual recognition of each organization's competencies or expertise based on equal participation and shared decision making. So we also expect a frank collaboration in the actions that we will have brought. So this said, we wish the GPN a long life. Our number is our strength. Thank you.
My name is Paul Yeboah. I'm the founder of Ghana Permaculture Institute. Ghana Permaculture Institute is located at Bafi in Kranza. We are at the Ghana Permaculture Institute demonstration site. We acquired this land in the year 2012. This is where people were winning gravels for the Tamale main road. So when we acquired the land, people were saying that this land is an agricultural land. But since we have the tools, which is Ghana permaculture principles, that we are going to use on the land just to reclaim the land. We have a lot of degradable land in Ghana that we can use these principles to reclaim the land. So we have a lot of activities going on over here. Activities which is generating income, which is recycling our waste, which is trying for us to become financially sustainable. This is how the soil looks like before we bought it for Ghana Permaculture Institute project. All the topsoil of the soil is gone. But before you can reclaim it, we started using sawdust, we started using chicken manure, and then we level it on the top of the soil for about 1.5 feet. And then we started planting moringa plant on the land and nitrogen fixing plants like lucina, gliricidia, cowpea, groundnut, and then pigeon pea on the land, so that we can get more nutrient on the land. And after that, we also started growing some of the annual crops on the land. And now we can see that the land is well reclaimed. And then a lot of crops are growing on the land, and also a lot of activities are also going on the land. Moisture in the soil is improved, and then the fertility in the soil is also improved, and then microorganisms also in the soil is also improved, and also erosion is also well controlled. And then we are catching more water and then storing in the soil for any crops that we are growing on the land. Because Ghana Permaculture Institute don't want to depend upon foreign donors, but we want to generate our own income just to sustain our business in Ghana, so that the project can keep up and running. Here is Ghana Permaculture Institute. This is the first building that we put up at Ghana Permaculture Institute called Base Camp. And also we have different type of buildings at the site. We have a wooden story building, we have cafeteria, and then we also have a mushroom cropping house, and also we have where we process moringa dry leaves into powder, and also where we process citronella oil. This is where we harvest our rainwater from the root catchment, and then we have a well, like a well or a pit, where we have cemented inside. We have a cover, so all the rainwater gets into this pit, and then we can take the rainwater and then reuse it again. And this is what we call chicken trotter. We use this one to put our chickens inside, so that we can move the chickens, and the chickens will scratch, and also their feces will also improve the soil. And here is also a chicken coop that we have used car ties for the chicken coop. And also we have our ICT center, where we train the youth, where people come and then learn the ICT. They can come and also browse and then check their email and then learn the computer. So this is also another part, that sector that we have in Ghana Permaculture Institute.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Akadu Bayere. I'm a staff member of Haramaya University, working at the Rural Development and Agricultural Extension Department. I'm a professor of institutional and resource economics. I'm happy to be a member of Global Partnership Network, and I'm expecting a lot from this network in terms of sharing knowledge, experiences, working together on different projects that would produce impact in terms of transforming our society, and particularly through supervising PhD students jointly and developing research proposals that would produce impact on the ground. And I will spend a lot of effort in terms of joining my colleagues who are participating in this network. And the network extends for the next 3 to 4 years. I am very sure that we will do something that is tangible and that can also generate impacts on the ground through our research that our PhD students are conducting and that we do in collaboration. And at the same time, this network would create a fertile ground for all of us to extend our collaboration beyond the project lifetime. And that is that I can see as potential. Thank you very much.
Jawaharlal Nehru University, popularly known as JNU, which came into being in 1969, is widely considered the foremost university not only in India but in developing countries in general, with a global reputation for teaching and research. Its educational philosophy, particularly in the social sciences and humanities, is strongly rooted in transdisciplinarity and embedded in the Nehruvian objectives of social justice, international understanding, and a scientific approach to problems of society. The university has rightly earned worldwide prestige for its creative endeavors, critical thinking, and much valued knowledge outputs. The School of Social Sciences, whose faculty is associated with the Global Labour University Program and also the Global Partnership Network, was established in the early 1970s and comprises of 13 interdisciplinary centers. The research and teaching of these are central to the themes of GPN, namely partnerships in development cooperation, partnerships in global economy, and partnerships in knowledge production. The underlying philosophy that guided the evolution of initial structure of the school was based on the view that for a proper understanding of social reality, an interdisciplinary approach to the study of social sciences was an imperative. These centers offer a whole range of innovative courses, including masters and research programs, whose course structure is based on consultative and democratic processes of evaluation and revision. In line with its overall vision, JNU has had a unique history of promoting social equity in its admission policy through positive affirmative action, which includes concerns relating to caste, tribes, gender, and other structural bases of deprivation. Such a process teaches students and researchers to question the dominant power structures and work on innovative ideas that can have very, very powerful implications for policies and academic discourses. The foundations of the university were laid by globally renowned academics who shared a progressive vision. In the course of 7 decades, the university has produced a large crop of academics, researchers, activists, policymakers, and others associated in several professional spaces who seek to contribute towards the making of a better and more equitable world. JNU's partnership with GPN will indeed go a long way in furthering these objectives. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, my name is Sally Matthews, and I am going to be introducing myself briefly in this short video and introducing my position within the GPN network. I am from Rhodes University, which you can see pictured here. Rhodes University is a small university that is in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. There is me with some of my colleagues. We're a small Department of Political and International Studies, but although we're a small team, we have 700 undergraduate and about 30 to 40 postgraduate students. So we are very involved and active in the life of our students. Our university is situated in the town of Makanda, used to be known as Grahamstown, and it's here in the Eastern Cape, as you can see on the map there. It's actually a fairly small town in quite a rural area in South Africa. So I'm joining this network, I think, largely because of my interests in post-development theory and also in NGO work. I'm very excited to be part of such an international network, which has people from all over the world. So that really interests me with this network. I'm going to be doing, my research is very much on post-development theory and on NGO work. I'll be joined shortly by a PhD student who will be working on post-development theory and looking at how development plays out in a small marginalized community in Zimbabwe. I'm hoping also to have some other students working on NGOs and other areas of development. So yeah, I'm very excited to join this network. I'm hoping that I'll be able to meet in person after this COVID time with some of the other members of the network. It's really exciting to me that we can have this network that brings people together from all around the world. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bonjour, chers collègues, partenaires du GPN.
Hello, dear colleague, partners of the GPN.
Je suis le directeur du pôle lettres, sciences humaines et sciences de l'éducation de l'Université virtuelle du Sénégal. C'est un grand plaisir pour moi de parler de l'importance de ce partenariat qui a vu 3 étudiants octroyer des bourses de doctorat et de master. Alors, ces bourses sont extrêmement importantes pour la motivation des étudiants, mais également pour accompagner l'UVS dans son effort de formation. Alors, je dis bravo au GPN et mon collègue Alphadia, qui est également enseignant et directeur des études de la même université, de cette même université d'UVS, se joint à moi pour féliciter et encourager ce qui est en train de faire au niveau du GPN et de féliciter également nos plus proches collaboratrices qui sont Simone et Fiona. Alors, je remercie tout le monde et je pense que ce projet va aller plus loin et nous attendons un renouvellement de ce projet pour encore soutenir nos étudiants dans l'effort de développement qui est initié par le GPN. Je vous remercie.